Welcome, everybody, to the Smart Guy podcast. I'm your host, CJtheSmartGuy, and today we have an absolutely amazing guest. She's the founder of BitSavers Eduhub, an educational platform educating students and young professionals to understand Bitcoin and grow their financial independence. She also teaches with the Trezor Academy, Kenya, where she shares practical lessons on saving, security, and economic freedom. With her passion for financial literacy, she has a unique way of making money and technology simple, relatable, and useful for everyday people. Everybody, Miss Linda Kariuki, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for the very incredible introduction. I look forward to this session.
Awesome, awesome. So, give us a little background. BitSavers Eduhub. What
Mhm.
exactly is that?
BitSavers Eduhub. Ideally, I will call it a platform that is looking forward to grow a community of financially literate people and also people that are aware of what Bitcoin is. Why is financial literacy important in the first place? So, BitSavers was born from a very personal story of mine. Last year in 2024, I got a scholarship and I needed a visa. That same day that I went for my visa appointment, was the same day that Bitcoin hit 70,000. So when I had stacked my first Bitcoin, I can't really tell how much Bitcoin was, what was the value of Bitcoin by that time, but I needed around $200 for my visa.
Mhm.
Now, shock on me, the amount that I had stacked before then was $200 more what
Oh,
I had. So it means that I got a visa for free. I don't know if that makes sense
oh,
to you. Yeah. So when that happened, I had never looked at Bitcoin that way, but I got this feeling that I needed to give back to the society rather. So by then I was still like an educator with Trezor Academy, and I really felt Trezor gave me like this platform to mingle with students. And after that occurrence, I felt that I needed to come up with a project that people would resonate with, especially in terms of saving, like looking at Bitcoin as a store of value. So basically, that's how BitSavers was born. So the name BitSavers means Bit for Bitcoin, Savers Save, Educate, Hub. In the long run, I look forward to seeing a pool of a financial literate generation that will carry forward what they've learned from us to the other generation. So how we've done that, basically, we have like a curriculum.
mhm.
So it's 18 sessions long, so which takes around 2.5 months. So you start off by the fundamentals of Bitcoin, you learn about DCA, and lastly, the very last session is always like avoiding the common pitfalls in the Bitcoin space, because some people get to the Bitcoin space through being scammed, which we are sorry about. But after being with us, at least you shouldn't get scammed. You shouldn't get scammed afterwards.
Yeah.
And finally, what we've made, having online sessions can only do so much. We've started this initiative of reaching out to people where they are. So we started having like physical sessions whereby we visit different universities. So we have a plan of visiting at least 12 universities by the end of next year. And after visiting a university, like I am a student, okay, I'm a postgraduate student and a teaching assistant in my home university back in Kenya. So what we've done after we've taught those people, we've built a community. So the best way to build a community is like having a circular economy whereby we have businesses in there. So when people learn about Bitcoin, they can now spend that Bitcoin in that whole community. And one thing I've learned, I think having a circular economy works magic when it comes to building a community, because you bring people together. I will call Bitcoin a language. When people are aware of a vendor receiving Bitcoin, they tend to change their supplier. I will give an example. In Kenya, if you have like gas, most people don't have like this home piped gas. You buy like the cylinder and you refill it afterwards, right? So we got one merchant who actually refills gases. And during the last session, I mean the last cohort of Treasure Academy, we got to visit his shop. So I've gotten like two people who are alumni of that cohort refill gas at his point and get to pay in Bitcoin, okay? And secondly, Ronnie from AfriBeat, I think he's set to visit sometime this week. So these people were very nice. They went ahead and created very nice stickers for AfriBeat Kibera. So and also they are not giving me space to breathe. They've been telling me they need like a session whereby I don't know how to call it, whereby these merchants meet and they only receive Bitcoin. So I'm still finding money to do that and still figuring out how it will look like. But basically, we've had to onboard like three other merchants through learning from other merchants. So I feel a circular economy is one of the most perfect ways of building a community. But before the circular economy, people need to learn about what Bitcoin is. Like there's no two way to it. They start by taking a session, and then you develop a circular economy, and for some reason a community just grows. You don't even have to work on it, you
Yeah.
just need to do your thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I've seen it work actually. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I saw it out there firsthand. I saw, you were on the stage at the unconference, which was, I believe I was with the core as well. And I saw
Mm-hmm.
all the students up there, and it's like it's beautiful. When did you graduate and learn like in totality about Bitcoin, or like when do you feel you were comfortable enough to start teaching people?
Well. I started. That's a very unique question because I don't even think, even to date, I am still learning. I feel every day is a learning day in the Bitcoin space.
Mhm.
And there's this very common phrase I always tell people. I tell them why I'm recording these sessions. It's because if I happen to lie to you at some point, you can call me out and then I'll learn about it. So
That
I don't know if it's a defense mechanism, but honestly, but back to your question, I first learned about Bitcoin through a financial literacy class that I had joined because I didn't have money, so I was trying to learn how to save when I don't even have money to save. So from then they mentioned something to do with Bitcoin, so I started self-educating myself, and afterwards I then had to learn about Bitcoin for Everybody 101, I think from Sailor Academy. So I learned about it and then took the exam. So I think the very first time I was very confident about teaching people on Bitcoin is after that first class of Sailor Academy.
okay.
Why so? I was so serious. I took note of everything. That test is always out of 70. I think I got a 69. And it was my
Oh,
first attempt. Yeah.
oh, look at
So
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, but afterwards, I've also joined Bitcoin Dada. I'm a graduate of cohort 4. From there, I've also taken a course with there's this Bitcoin for Fairness. Yeah, I've graduated from that as well. And on a weekly basis, on Wednesdays and Friday, I always ensure that I learn something new and write a blog, which I never publish on Medium about Bitcoin. So that's one thing. I've also like read a couple of books. I've read The Separation of Money and State by Joseph Tetek. I've also read Bitcoin for Kids. Okay, I've had to read that because I can't teach what I've not read. And right now, what I'm reading right now, had shown it to you, is like Check Your Financial Privilege by Alex Gladstein. However, I always read articles from the Bitcoin magazine as well as I discovered a podcast. I think it's called The Bitcoin Story. So I always listen to them as well.
The
So yeah,
Bitcoin stories or the Bitcoin source?
the Bitcoin source. Thank you. The
That's with
Bitcoin source.
Dadu, right? That's
Yeah.
my guy. He also has a book called Stacking Sats is the New Black.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
you might want to check that out. And then there's a book called Bitcoin and Black America. That one was by Isaiah Jackson.
Okay.
Since
Please
you love
share
books,
that
I got
after
books. I
this.
know
Okay.
books.
Okay.
There,
Thank you.
there's one called The Bitcoin Leap by Charlene
Mm-hmm.
Federico.
Okay.
Uh, she's Black American, but she used to work at the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
here in America, and then she turned to Bitcoin, and then her husband is Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
She was at the African Bitcoin conference in Kenya, but then they just moved to Australia. So everybody's moving around. But since you're in the books, I just wanted to make sure
Mm-hmm.
you've heard about those. I should read a lot more than I do.
Okay.
I've read a few. The Bitcoin and the American Dream. Thank God for Bitcoin. Um, I've read a few, but there's so many. So that's good that you're a reader.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please share those books with me. I've actually heard about that last book. Thank God for Bitcoin. There is one lady who was being interviewed on
Mm.
that same podcast, the Bitcoin Source, and she mentioned that. So that was going to be my next book as well,
Yeah.
actually.
It's
Yeah.
funny, like, and you're here. Look, you're doing a great job. You're educating your local community. Um, soon you'll start to know all the people, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a small group of people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my question, so I know when I first got into the space, it was mostly male dominated. But in Kenya, it doesn't seem as completely male dominated. How does it feel to be a woman in the space?
Wow, that's a very unique question. So, yesterday I had a session. I got a mentor because I have like three mentors now. Because as I've told you when you asked me, when did I get comfortable with teaching about Bitcoin? I say every day is a learning day because while reading articles from the Bitcoin magazine, listening to this podcast, I get to hear something new every day, and I always like write it down and then I research it. So how does it feel? I would say it feels, I think passion keeps me going. I wouldn't say that I never feel intimidated, especially when I hear of new things every day, because I feel like I'm failing my students. I am a perfectionist by nature.
Uh,
So when I hear of something totally new and I don't know it, I always feel like, oh my, I need to learn a new I really need to learn that so that my students can at least have an inkling on that. However, being a woman on this space, I would say it has been incredibly rewarding. Why? Because I've rode on the shoulders of giants. Honestly, I've had an incredible community. Talk of Ronnie. Actually, when I wasn't even sure how to start BitSavers, I visited Ronnie, and after visiting Ronnie, he helped me he went through my curriculum, and then he helped me like sharpen a number of things. He referred me to people who could help me with the curriculum in the first place. And also, we didn't even have money to have the first graduation. And I remember one day we sat over juice, and we were myself, Ronnie, and Felix. And from there, that's when the Bitcoin and conference started. In fact, that's how it started. So I'll say I've gotten immense support. And talking of mentors, I've had one lady who has really been my mentor. I've also like had the pleasure of graduating from Bitcoin Dada, so I have like met Marcel, and I even pitched this idea to her, and she really has been helpful, really. So I would say I can't speak for other women, but I feel that I've really gotten immense support, and that's what has really kept me going. Because I would say that I've doubted myself so many times, but the fact that I'm surrounded by people who hold me accountable, they've kept me going. And also the passion. Honestly, it's passion and the support. So that's what I can speak. That's what I can say. Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, I've noticed that. So me coming from America, going to Kenya, it's this duality that's kind of interesting to me in the sense that in America, we all speak one language. If you speak a second language, oh, that's like intelligent. If you speak three, you're one of the smartest Americans in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go out there to Kenya, speaking three languages is normally like the baseline, like that's the complete normal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I'm out there, I see a lot of women that are intelligent, that have so much going for them, they work hard, but then it seems like their self-confidence isn't always there. Whereas in America, they've got all the self-confidence. They may not put in the effort as they would out there. Not down anybody, but I just noticed that.
Yeah, okay. I think to answer to that, I've had to deal with this mentally. So, why I feel self-confidence isn't the strongest value that we have as African women. I think even it narrows down to how we've been brought up. This might sound very controversial, and to my family who gets to watch this, I love you very much. Honestly, I do. So I feel that being through the 844 system, that's the education system, I think unless you took a course on project management or something close to that, by default, you will think that you are an entrepreneur. Now, people like me, I am actually a chemistry major. And if I was to get a job, because the 844 system prepares you to be employed, but you see, unemployment is also on the rise, okay? So when you start thinking of coming up with a fast business, the 844 system has already thrown you off. Coming back from your own background, unless you have like entrepreneurial parents who will teach you the fundamentals of building a Bitcoin, I mean building a business, sorry, from the self-confidence and everything else, then you already don't have that confidence. So when you now meet men who might not be very accommodating, and the system itself, I mean, you're learning about very complicated stuff. So how I would say that whatever you're dealing with is already complicated. I don't know if complicated, it's intimidating by itself. You find that self-confidence is not the strongest virtue that you will end up having, because as a lady, it's so difficult to have people cheering at you or supporting you. I wouldn't say that I haven't been supported. And why I say I believe I am still standing, it's because of the support that I've gotten. Trust you me, if that support never came through,
Yeah.
that wouldn't have actually happened. And like next year or years to come, months to come, I'm planning on having this forum for women, only women actually, whereby I think we'll just be teaching life skills, just believing in yourself, and well, I'll let you know how far we will get once we've
Yeah.
started. I'll let you know, but I feel that's something we need to start working on. Actually, over
Yeah,
to
I'm
you.
excited about that because like even you said you had graduated from Bitcoin-literate, and I know that they do a lot of like dev work with
Mm-hmm.
women. Like, how was that? How was working at Bitcoin-literate, and then what did you learn from there into BitSavers? Like, how were you able to bring that knowledge into here? And was there any like mentorship like notes that you took that you brought into your projects?
Well, yeah, I would say being in Bitcoin data has really helped, or rather did help, even with building this project. So to begin with, Bitcoin data has like two programs. So they have like the Bitcoin source, like just Bitcoin education fundamentals, and then they have the data devs, whereby they have like women developers. So I took the first one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the first thing that Bitcoin data that helps with Bitcoin data is the community. So, and the fact that when you see women going out there to learn about Bitcoin, I think number one, you connect on values, your own values, because these are women that have gone out there to learn about money. That's one thing. So, by the virtue of those women going there and you going there, there's some sort of like mindedness. So, you find that you're able to connect in one way or the other. Number two, you get to find women that are very driven from that kind of platform. And when I started, I didn't know where to start, basically, I would say so, because now I hadn't like started my own project at any particular point. However, I knew that I needed a social media page, and I also needed people to volunteer for me. I needed to think of where to get tutors from. I also needed to find someone to help me manage my community. So what I did, I just came up with a Google form, prepared a very nice flyer, and asked people to sign up. I got 7 people out of 10 to
Oh.
volunteer for me from Bitcoin Data. So I will say that that community, having like being part of Bitcoin Data, like started me off with having a community of people I could count on or ask for help, and they were willing to help. So I would say that helped being in Bitcoin Data.
That's awesome. Look, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
huge. I'm glad you found that community as well. And now, from my understanding, you're traveling the world. So where are
Mhm.
you at right now?
I am in a province known as Turin in Italy. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And what brings you out there?
What brings me out here is education. As I mentioned, I'm a postgraduate student, so I'm doing my master's, which is almost getting done in chemistry. And I there was this mobility program. Itaca, it's the Italian mobility program. So I happened to have like my major is material science and nanotechnology. So I needed to learn a little bit, a little okay, a little technical thing about plastic. So I'm going to use a very friendly language to people. So once you what when you're using plastic and then you discard it and it's not burnt or it's not like when you leave it somewhere in the atmosphere, plastic does not degrade. So what it does, it can live for up to, I think, up to close to 50 years or 100 or even more. So what it does over time, because there is sun, there is rain, there is people walking on top of it, so it breaks down into smaller particles. So you can get particles as small as 10 to negative 6, known as microplastics, which
Mhm.
can now be inhaled. You can absorb them through your skin. You can like eat them with your food without knowing it, right? And once you get plastic in your body, I don't think, okay, it has been proven that plastic has no beneficial attribute in your body.
Yeah.
So the worst that has happened, especially with animals, is having like gastrointestinal blockage. However, with human beings, plastic can be very bad, especially with we are living in times whereby cancer is so common. So plastic is carcinogenic in itself, because for plastic to have color, we have something known as phthalate that has been added to it so that it can get color. Okay, so these phthalates are accused of causing cancer. So here I am learning about the characteristics of plastic, like what happens to this plastic, how what does it undergo to move from this big particle to this very small particle, and as it is getting smaller, what detrimental effect does it have on human body. So that's what I'm doing here in Italy. Yeah.
Look at you, super smart.
Thank you.
I
Thank
know
you so much.
yeah, no problem. I know to offset that, I normally, because in the States, we
Mm-hmm.
have plastic in our rice. So we
Mm-hmm.
have plastic everywhere. I try to fast for like I'll say about 3 days
Mm-hmm.
every 90 days. So like every 3 months, I try to fast for at least 3 days straight, just water. Because that all those terrible dead cells, it'll get rid of
Mm-hmm.
all those. Any cancer cells, it'll be gone. Um,
Wow, that's a nice practice, but I think I have news for you.
uh-oh.
Actually, yeah. So if you actually take bottled water based on the quality of plastic of your bottle, you find that if you're taking water from a plastic bottle that has been recycled, um, it is very likely that once that water has been sitting, has sat on a shelf, or you maybe refrigerate it or subject it to harsh temperatures or whatever, it is most likely that the plastic that has made that bottle has actually part of it is actually on that water, in that
Mhm.
water rather, sorry. So what I will challenge you is just buy one bottle of water and let it sit for maybe a month, and then just shake it against the sun. So the sun is to help you see, so you always see some suspended small thingies.
Uh,
So okay, I'm not here to scare you, but
that
just
sounds
to let
terrible.
you know. Yeah, it's quite terrible actually.
So, okay, so is there any connection between chemistry and Bitcoin?
Mhm.
Like, have you been able to merge the two together at all, or are you thinking about anything like that?
Yeah, honestly, I've been thinking about that because it has been very difficult to make my colleagues at least even get interested in what I'm doing.
Mhm.
But basically, I would say being in chemistry and being in the lab, it takes a lot of energy from you. And also, as a chemist, you also need to be financially independent. I think that's one thing that we can all agree on. So how I'm trying to make this connected to chemistry, I would say that I have been trying to ensure that whenever we are having Bitcoin sessions, we have like these short videos of people sharing the experience about what the class has been. So we are trying to simplify what we are doing in Bitcoin so that any normal person can get an inkling of what we are doing, and then they will get interested. I don't know if this is going to work or it's working, but I hope that can be that is one thing that has helped like two people tell me, okay, two colleagues of mine walk up to me and tell me, this thing is serious, I think I need to be part of your classes. So I think that should be a sign, right?
Yeah.
However, I've not found a way to marry the two, which is something I'm seriously thinking about, because in the long run, I don't know how my life will be,
Yeah.
but I'm still figuring myself out.
Yeah.
So I would say I'll have to find like a common point. I'll have to find a meeting point rather. Yeah.
It's gonna happen. Look, it's gonna happen. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. And
Oh.
all your chemists are gonna be like Bitcoiners, and then Bitcoiners, some of them are gonna get into
Absolutely. I
chemistry.
look forward to that day. I really look forward to that day. Yeah, but they've been telling me, oh, you seem to be doing so well financially. And I tell them, you know the secret. So
Told you
yeah.
you're a baller.
Yeah, not
Hmm.
really, but you see, whenever we are having like to travel, and then me, I have my tando, and they are going to bureaus to change their money, and me, I'm just sitting pretty and just scrolling my phone. So I've had like two people say, "Oh wow, you seem to be having a very easy time when you're traveling," and everything. I tell them it's Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin. So they have to struggle and think of how to change their money. Me, I have my Bitcoin. I just go to Tando, I
Yeah.
do my thing, and then I'll be smiling with them or laughing at them. It doesn't matter. The beauty of it is that I'll be happy at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're teaching with the Trezor Academy, correct? Let's
Yes.
talk about that briefly. How did you get involved with Trezor, and how does it feel to be a teacher?
Um, wow. So I would say it feels rewarding. I think rewarding is the is the correct term to use. So how did I get started with Treasure Academy? So I have been volunteering for an organization known as Students for Liberty. So Students for Liberty is actually the largest pro-liberty organization in the world. So back in 2023, they sent an email. So they always share opportunities. So they sent an email of anyone who's interested in learning about Bitcoin. In fact, it was learning about Bitcoin. So myself, by then, I think before this call, I was sharing with you how dull my life was looking like pre 2023.
Yeah.
So when I actually saw that, and I had started watching videos, and I had like a clue of what Bitcoin was. So I took my time and applied for that opportunity. So after this, that's when I started becoming serious. So I applied for it knowing that I will be learning more about Bitcoin. So we applied for it, and it took a while, and then one day I think I received an email from Joseph. Yeah, it was about us having a call, like scheduling a Google Meet call with that person. So I got, it was actually an interview. Oh my, a lot has happened. So I attended my interview, and of course I was asked whatever I was asked. I don't know if I'm supposed to share it here. So of course I
Yeah.
I passed my interview, and my first task was to have like my first cohort. So back then, I had not even known Marcel before then. I knew her just before hosting Treasure Academy Kenya. Why? Because I wasn't like I didn't know how to market an event, and how like to structure an event in that people will get them will have the most out of this, like event of mine or this class of mine. So I went to her. We went through what I had in mind, and she was really encouraging. We had like lunch, we talked, we planned everything with her. Like she really helped me do all that. And then back to my university and my community, because ideally when you're teaching something as new as Bitcoin, because I don't think lots of people had heard of Bitcoin, so I was looking like a scammer. However, I was counting on this thing. I said I'm a person of integrity. I think that's one thing I know I am of. So what I did, I reached out to a number of clubs where I had served as either a vice chairperson or I knew the leaders of that club. So I started attending these club meetings, and I used to tell them, when you hear about money, we have digital money. So Bitcoin is digital money, and the beauty of it, its supply is fixed. So you don't have to incur the problem of inflation when you start learning about Bitcoin. And then we have our classes happening at the Senate Hotel, and 30 people signed up. That was
Okay.
the beauty of it. Out of them, 27 people, the total number of people that attended these sessions were 27.
Wow.
And those that graduated were 24. So, but the fun fact, the good thing about it, these were people that I was close to. So there are people that I had worked with as either as an undergraduate or friends or people whom I knew. So when they came to learn about Bitcoin, and then they got to like refer their friends to come back and join us, now life became easier. And this is where we are. Actually, we've trained like 125 people and
Wow.
graduated them. We've trained more because ideally for you to graduate, you at least need to pass an exam. So if you take the exam, if you haven't taken the exam, then you haven't. So I will say we have a community of 125 people that have actually graduated from Treza Academy. So life has become easier. And yeah, even early this year when I was helping with the Treza Academy in Kibera, right now they have a Treza Academy that's going on. Oh my, life is so nice for them, because those that graduated, especially those that are running their circular economies right now, they actually got their friends, after their friends seeing how good their lives are looking like, they didn't even have to over market the event. Like, the classes are really packed, which is a good
Wow.
thing
That's a
actually.
fantastic thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I will say that that's one thing I've truly appreciated about being in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
and Africans in general. I know that when I was studying for my CPA exam, uh, my professor, he saw me struggling because I failed my first two, and I'm not used to failing anything. So for me to
I'm
fail
sorry.
was devastating.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, "I'll create a study group, invite whoever you want, just make sure I feed them." So, I feed them every time. And I remember I
Mm-hmm.
invited about 30 Black Americans. I think I invited like two Asians and two Africans. Man, when it came to the actual class, who showed up, it was only two Black Americans out of like 30.
Oh
Both
my.
Asians showed up and both Africans showed up. And it was like, wow. And so I tend to think that when Africans are given an opportunity or there's anything there, like when I
Mm-hmm.
see 24 out of 30 people
Mm-hmm.
finish, that's 80%. That's
Yeah,
extraordinarily high numbers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and when I'm in Kenya and I talk Bitcoin, even if I'm talking to non-Bitcoiners, they're like opportunity, and they're tuned in, they pay more attention. In America, it's
Mm-hmm.
not like that, like at all. And I don't know if that's due to, um, like just being comfortable. The US
Yeah,
dollar is the strongest
I would
one.
say, yeah, I think, okay, sorry, I keep cutting you short. I think that's one of the reasons, because right now, why I feel so many Kenyans are victims of being scammed. Um, I was looking at statistics prior to this interview. So the average unemployment rate in Kenya is 12.7 percent. However, the youth that is from 15 to 34 age is actually, Kenya is a youthful population. So the youths make up 70% of this population. So the unemployment rate for these youths is around 67. Now that I read this and say this, it makes so now showing you that if you even okay, the bad thing to that is we have people that live we call it hand to mouth. They live from hand to mouth. And if you even told that person that they could get $1 for free and they don't have like to work to get that $1, they will be so quick. They will actually pay attention to what you're saying, which is not funny actually, which is not
Yeah.
okay. It is not a good thing. However, I don't even know whom we should be blaming for all that. But I feel that's what makes Kenyans very open minded. Now, the bad thing happens when now they meet someone who's willing to take advantage of them. So
Mhm.
they are very vulnerable. As I always say, there is no dignity in poverty. There will never be a single pint of dignity when it comes to poverty, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. It's like I've heard about that as well, where they see the struggle and people will take
Mm-hmm.
advantage of the struggle. Like they'll make like a job opening and pretend like there's a job, but then there'll be like an application fee. And all the scammers are trying to do are collect
Yeah.
application fees. I think that's absolutely terrible. That's predatory.
Even pyramid schemes nowadays, they stage it as an what a job opening, and then after you've attended and paid your registration fee, you're told now forget about your job opening. We are
Yeah.
here to teach you how you can make 10,000 in one day, and
Yeah.
well,
And
some
that's why
would
I want
get
to
sick.
salute you. You and, you, Marcella, Bitcoin Dada, Ronnie of Afrobit, Sabina and Jason for Tondo, because
Mhm.
you guys are both creating solutions to problems, as well as you're educating people on what's really going on, to prevent those scams from maturing or from being fruitful. So I want to salute you. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. So if somebody wants to help your movement, where can they help you? Where can they find you?
Okay, thank you so much for that. Before we get there, I've just remembered. So with this cohort 3, we've been uploading our class recordings as well as our assignment to a publicly available website. So
Mhm.
the classes are free. So you can actually learn at your own pace. So now, if you want to support us, I would say the easiest place to go is to find us on Twitter. That
Okay.
is it right now. We are at BitEduhub, but our page name is BitSavers Eduhub. My name is Linda Kariuki, and yeah, that's my name on Twitter as well on X. We have a Gaysa page, so known as BitSavers Eduhub. Our website should be having a donate tab, but I can assure you it's not working at the moment. So that wouldn't be a nice place to start. And also on Instagram, you can always like inbox us there. So we are at BitSavers Eduhub. You can also text us on LinkedIn, I think as well, or text me at Linda Karaoke. And also we are also on TikTok. I don't know if you can help us through TikTok. I don't know if there's a tab like that, but that's our page. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. And if there was anything to the world, to the viewers, what would you want to
Mhm.
tell them?
Myself, I would say that if you actually want change, be the change. There is not a thing you waiting for people to come and help. And like if you actually if you see if CJ you are my friend and you saw that my shoe was actually worn out, do not wait for someone else to come and get me a new pair of shoe. How about you? If you can't at least get me a new pair of shoe, at least help me give me money to okay, help me get money to visit the cobbler, because if I even had money to repair the shoe, it wouldn't be worn out in the first place. And that's what I would say. So if you want change, be the change. Yeah.
If you want change, be the change.
Yeah.
Wise words from Miss Linda. Look, we appreciate you for coming on. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you for being a great steward for Bitcoin. I appreciate you for carrying the torch from Bitcoin Dada
Mm-hmm.
to BitSavers. being a pioneer as a woman in the game. I want to salute you, give you your flowers.
Thank
Keep doing
you.
what you're doing. Go ahead and get your education, your master's. You're in Italy.
Thank
You're making
you.
it happen. So thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. And thank you so much for having me. It has indeed been a great time and a pleasure as well.
For sure. Okay, you guys. CJ the Smart Guy, the Smart Guy podcast. Ms. Linda, we're out.